Every woman goes through her monthly cycle, periods or menstruation. Oops, did I say that out loud? Yeah, better put it in another way. Human beings have created different words to camouflage the word periods to chumps, to lady business, to red wedding, Game of Thrones fans, you get it right. Are we supposed to feel proud that in many parts of our country, how many taboos and words we have collaborated to keep the word of periods undercover? Meet Maya Vishwakarma, founder of the Sukarma Foundation, also known as the PADWOMAN of India, who is on a mission to end taboos associated with menstruation in India. Let's welcome her to the Real Talk session.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with me. And I know right from California, I think it's 11:30, right? 11:30 p.m.
No, no, it's actually there was a time confusion. I thought like the California time is 10:30. So then your time would be maybe 1.5 hour sometime. Yeah.
So your journey from being a small little village girl in Madhya Pradesh to AIMS in Delhi and then being a cancer researcher for leukemia in US. How has this been? Can you please share your journey with our viewers?
Yeah, so it's very interesting and very challenging, definitely the journey. And so I born and brought up in my small village near Itarsi Junction. Actually, people know more in Itarsi, Madhya Pradesh.
Okay.
So that's nearby, around 3 hours from there. No, 4 hours from there. But it's a very extreme interior village where I born and brought up. And if I talk about those days when I was like 10-year-old, so there was no electricity, no waters and all that. So we used to bring water directly from the river. So whatever we used to do, like, shower or washing our dishes, everything directly goes to the rivers because we didn't had anything. And then later on there was a wells and then hand pumps and all that. And so my father, he's a blacksmith carpenter, and my mom, she's a housemaker. Even though we used to work in a farms, and so I was the first. I mean, I was the only girl in my family with the three brother. So I
Okay.
grew up like a boy, not like a girl. So I never realized like I'm less than any boys or something like that. I used to play with them. I used to talk with them. I mean, more with the boys, less with the girl. But it's very odd in a village, in a small society. But so I went to eighth grade school in my village. That's the highest grade that we had in our village. And then what happened is like, so if there is a school in your village around, like whatever is grade, so the girls only goes to that grades and later they just drop out, gets married and start their life. So that's very typical, but in my case it is very different because my parents, they are very very modern, and they never, I mean, my dad, he just went to fifth grade, and my mom, she never went to school, but they had a dream like, our kids should go to schools because my mom's side family, they are very well educated, means her brother is IS officers and scientist and all kind of stuff. But because of she couldn't go to school, she always had that like, education is good. So then they always encouraged me, and then I went to another town to get two more classes with my uncle place, ninth and 10th grade, and then they had only 10th grade, so then I had to move another town for 11 and 12. And then later, I wanted to go more like in college, so then I went to Jabalpur. And all this study is like all in Hindi medium, because in Madhya Pradesh we are Hindi is a primary language. So all the boards and college and everything is in Hindi medium. So I went to Jabalpur, and then there I was like self-sufficient, means I was living alone with my brother and in my uncle place. I mean, we just two. And then I was exploring myself in terms of news and newspaper, reading English, teaching kids like small kids to get some small incomes and all. So I was very self-sufficient, and that gave me kind of a freedom that you can explore yourself, you can learn whatever you want. And those days there was no internet like in 2000s. Exactly 20 year back. So then you are struggling more but learning a lot, because every steps you had a challenges. So after my graduation, I went for a master in this same university, Jabalpur. And that was also kind of a different, because I wanted to in my childhood I wanted to become a doctor, but there was a no guidance and the facility, so I didn't get all the info on time. So my second choice was scientist, kind of in my childhood. So then I thought, no, I had to do masters and especially in biochemistry, in a science and all. So I got that stream in my university, which had like only 10 seats all over India actually. So you get you go, you give exams and there's a short list and all. So in my class we had a internet, not all over students from all over India, like from Jharkhand to Kashmir to Himachal to every parts. So that was another learning and exploration, that you're living with the girls and you are all the students and you are learning other cultures, other, they all were from English mediums and they were all were like from carbon schools and all. And for me it was a big struggle being a Hindi medium, and we are going in an English stream, and everything is like lectures and everything is in English. So everything was going on out of my head. So it was very you can imagine, like, it's a very challenging, but then slowly you adopt that environment, you try to learn some new things, and then later, so in our program, master program, we used to finish 3 semester in the university, and then fourth semester we can go to all over India, anywhere, like IITs, and then national labs like NIH, and then immunology centers and universities like Delhi University, JNU, and all. But you had to apply so you can get some research position in the lab, because you imagine, like, you were a small fish in a pond, and then you went to Delhi AIMS and you become like another small fish in the ocean. So it was a very big difference. And there was like everything. AIMS is like ocean for your knowledge. Like you can explore whatever you want, everything is open 24 hour. It's not like of 9 to 5. You can study there 24 hour, because the library access you get all the times. So I had that privilege to work in a, explore myself and learn English, computers, and everything. So I gave enough time for myself, and then I did research, submitted my research back in a university. So I got like very high ranking in my last semester. So that gave me like very good exposure and strength. Like, hey, you are not less than other people. Like, other people means like other superior kids who went to throughout their English medium school. So anyway, I never came back to Jabalpur, means like leaving AIMS. I was staying there and doing the research and waiting for the fundings and all that. And by the time I started few tuitions, teaching in some houses so that I can get my expenses. So later I got a junior research fellowship and in AIMS. So I started that, and that was like full time position. You get salaries, and you can explore yourself. So I worked in so many lab, and there. So when you work in AIMS as a researcher, you had an opportunity to go to all around India, even in abroad, for a conferences. So I explored myself in all over India. It's like I went to all the conferences, annual conferences, biotech, chemistry, or any like biomedical engineerings and other nuclear medicine conference. So those because your work recognized, and then you start writing research paper, you start submitting abstracts and all. So I submitted one abstract in a US conference. So luckily I got accepted. So then when I was going for a PhD program, so my entire village came to know that it's a big thing for our area. So we should see of her, and it came in the news, and there was like thousands of people in my hometown which was like dropping me off and saying like, this is very proud, it's just like you are going in a space or something in astronaut. So this was like I had those experiences. So then I came here and I started my PhD programs with a scholarship, and it was engineering college, but I wanted to work in a medical college, because medical college and universities, you have access to the patient where you are serving those. So I had that experience in AIMS. I always, I mean, other than my research work, I always try to help patient in OPDs. Like, you are employees, so you have direct access. So you help those people who are coming from maybe thousands kilometers away and staying there on footpath for like many days. And if you can help them just making a OPD card, they will be very grateful. So I used to do that, and I used to get the free medication. So I used to get all the medication on my name, and then I used to distribute in my village for free. And by the time I learned like how to give injections, and how to take care of the patient when the primary level. Because if you work in a hospital, which is like fever medicines and all those, the small things you can sort it out. So back home, I used to go there, and I become one of the doctors because I used to give everything. So they were like, it is like very soothing for me, very rewarding for me. So I was like very much appreciated. Then when I went to engineering college, I didn't like that, because you are all the time you are doing coursework and doing everything on papers and all. So then I gave up after 2 years, and I came to California. So here I got in another medical university where it was a higher position, I mean, a higher research, higher level research, where you are treating I mean, you are doing like a real core research in oncology. So I like that work. And so I started here, and I was working. So that's the story of from village to California. Yes.
Okay, amazing, really. So, your campaign, Bad Women hashtag Bleed with Pride. What or who gave you the urge to start up such a wonderful, powerful change of project? Putting out such a project, coming up with this idea. What was it?
So as I said, I grew up in the village, and I had like billions of issues when I used to go back. I can realize. So menstrual hygiene was one of the big problem there. It is still a problem. When I was growing up there, I also went through the same things, because my schooling was from the villages. So
Yeah.
I had those problems, issues, and then when I went to AIMS, and then there, it is my own issues that related to those problems. So when I moved here in US, and here like I've seen how they manage menstrual hygiene, how they talk about periods, and how the girls here in school they get all the information. So back in India, we don't have that privilege actually. Even we don't even talk about it, because in our village, in the society, my mom, she never knows like when I had a periods and all that, because we are too shy. There is a big gap in our age, because earlier it used to be like so many kids, right? So
Yes.
then we never shared anything with anyone. Like if your mom is like your age, I mean not your age, but at least less gap, then you share everything. And some moms are very homely, so they keep eyes on the daughter. But in our case, like our moms is like they never had time. They always working in the fields or the houses. We used to do everything by our own hand with a in a kacha house and everything. So the communication is a very big. So I thought like this problem will go more and more, and nobody's here to talk about. So being a NRI from California, and had an experience in those research and medical fields, people recognize me as a educated person. So it's easy for me to go and tell about these issues, and also somehow try to fix those issues. Then I left my job, and then I was full time working for this. Like, I was searching about the machines, the material, how to make sanitary pad, just like a pad man, because he also did all that thing. So somehow he was my kind of motivation, because I have seen his TED talk and so many videos. That time movie was not there. I tried to find him. I tried to meet him. I went to his hometown, Coimbatore, and I saw his machines and all that offices. So I got very inspired. Then myself also arranged something in the Madhya Pradesh, like our hometown. So then I started Sukarma Foundation. So because you need a funds to start some project, it's a bigger level project. So friends over here and my families, they were very encouraging, like, hey, you should do that. So then we got a help, and I started in 2016 my foundation. And from that time, I was working in a menstrual hygiene. Like, we are manufacturing sanitary pad. The name sanitary pad is no tension. We are employing the village girls, training them how to make sanitary pad, how to clean yourself, your daughters in your family, basically the whole hygiene kind of education. So then I started, and the same time the movie was coming. So I decided I will, because my area is also tribal area. So but I wanted to see how the other areas, because Madhya Pradesh is the biggest state where we have the tribal population. So we have a 22 district which are which are tribal indigenous people. So I wanted to explore those areas like Jhaguas. It's very interiors, forest areas. So I decided to I made a map, like kind of a journey, that I will go in all these places, and I will ask the girls and teach them, educate them, do workshop and understand their issues. Because it's not the problem only in my area, it may be in other areas as well, in Madhya Pradesh only. So I prepare a campaign called Pad Women on the Wheel. And then it was before the Padman movie released. So
Okay.
then I was going village to village and school. So I was targeting mostly the tribal girls, because if you go to the hostel, tribal hostel, you get thousands of girls, and they are from different remotest village, and they had their own challenges, their own experiences. And most of them, all of them, they were using clothes. They had never had, like, the pads, because they can't afford it. So then, we organized the workshop. We tried to talk about them, and then the periods, and show the videos and all that. So it was a very good, well made campaign. So I was on the road around 60 days in 15 districts. I was alone, me and my brother. We both were in the car, and we had all the materials and all. So we were going everywhere, and then people were helping. Administration is helping us, and so this is how, like, this campaign spread, and the name came up like Pad Women of India. So then people started, writing about us, preparing the videos and all that, because this was very like a burning issue at that time. So then we got that privilege, and this is how started.
So, do you think, ma'am, is there a change in the mindset of the people in India regarding, taboos and menstruation associated with menstruation?
Well, over the time, people are definitely getting awareness. I mean, aware, because when they see those issues directly in their home, like their own family members started complaining, like we had this infection and that, and when they hear about, like the period is not something that you had to hide, it's like natural things. So then they start definitely accepting that. I won't say like they are open to talk about it, no, but still there is a change I can see over the years, like 4 5 years at least. That girls at least they are bold enough to go to the shop and get the pads, and women's they can at least afford 10 to 15 rupees per month on their own hygiene, like pads. So there are definitely change, and then taboos is like still remain same,
Yeah.
because it depends on the families. They still take 5 days off when they have a period. They stay out of kitchen. They cannot participate any pujas and all. It just stays same. It won't change unless the next generation will take over. So because we are like we are just going one step ahead, which is just talking. So taboos are far more away, and ladies, I mean, you can't convince them, and you can't go and tell them, hey, just go and cook for your family. No, it will be big fight and battle for them. So it will take definitely time, but taboos are as it is there. Yeah.
मैम, देखा जाए तो बहुत कंडीशन ऐसा है कि अगर हम एक मेडिकल शॉप में जाते हैं तो वो बस पैड जो है वो पूरा पेपर में कवर करके एक पेपर बैग में कुछ डाल के देंगे। बाकी सब चीजें ऐसी होती है कि भाई ले लो तुम, बस ये चीज होती है एकदम ठीक है, दे दिया, कई साइड से दे दिया और निकल जाओ। अभी भी ये इतना चलता है इधर। सो
Yes. That's very true, because it's a both side, because the receiver is also very shy about it, and the giver also very shy about it. So I mean, they want to make comfortable both of them. Like in small towns, small villages, it is still there that in even though in our house, I mean, in our village, we supply pads for very nominal rate, like 5 rupees for one box,
ओके।
because we want to make more users. We want to make available for everybody's. But when you keep higher cost, then people, they won't come and buy it. But at least to get users, you had to, I mean, we did that. So earlier, even now, people, girls and the women, they used to take a bag, and then they come to buy those pads. So they will not take a box with them. Like they will definitely wrap up with papers or some bags or something, like something there. Then only they can take it. So it's still there, definitely there. But yeah, city areas, like when you go to the supermarket, there you don't cover it up, right? It's right on the section, and you just go and grab that, and you just check out. So it's a big difference. I think those supermarket will come in the small town, and then only people just go and take it, because there you don't have any option.
Yes, yes. So, in today's generation, when youngsters give up so easily on their dreams, when things go wrong, when everything is not working in place, and your story, your journey is a complete inspiration for us, for the youngsters of India and all around the globe. So, can you give us like three, four keys to life? How to go ahead when things don't work forward.
Well, it depends. Like so education is not only like you get educated and you think about you'll have a good life, and then you'll make a good money, and you will have a big car or big house. No, it is completely different. Education is about you are learning for yourself, for others. Like how can you contribute to the society? Because nowadays there's a big competition in among the teens, because there's more technology, more brands, more like show off kind of stuff, like the movies and the big things. And most of us, we can't even afford those, because how much you can chase those brands one after other. It's impossible. So I think the all the youths, they must realize, like, these things, I mean, we are not in a Ambani's houses, right, where we can say, okay, we want this and you will get it. No. So you had to earn everything, and it will come over the time. So once you focus on study, once you analyze yourself, yourself, like what you want to do. I mean, it's not like your parents want you to become a doctor. No, what you really want to do. I mean, first, if you know about that, then it is very easy. Like, you can chase and you can go on that path. If you are thinking like, hey, first we need to do this and that, like, we all see in the college and cafes. Like, I also had those experiences, because some kids, they used to come from a very affluent family. Some used to come in the car, and they had, like, every day they were sitting in a cafe paying, like, for pizzas or whatever they are eating. So that time you shouldn't feel like, hey, you can't afford it, and that's why you are sad or something. No, the time will come. You don't need it, actually, because here in an institution, you are not here to compete anybody in terms of, like, show off or your own things. You are here to learn something. So first finish that. First focus that. First, accomplish what you want to be. So I think that message should be clear in thoughts for all the generations. Then only they can progress. And when you are studying, you are not studying for yourself. You are studying for your parents. You are studying for your future. You are studying for the society, because everybody is putting efforts to make you a good human being. And you are very fortunate that you are going in that path. Think about the millions of kids who are just, they really want to go to school, but they don't have school, they don't have facility, they don't have books. Their parents is not aware enough to send them. They are not, like, affluent enough to pay the fees. So if you imagine, like, those kids in that background, definitely you will appreciate and honor whatever you have that. So I think, seeing the lower class when you are there, that will make a much more easier than seeing the upper class and then comparing yourself and living in the misery. That makes you, like, always miserable. So always look at the lower people, the lower society, the lower, background, and appreciate whatever you have. I think that will, I mean, you will become like the happiest person in the world. I mean, I do the same thing, because I never compare with what other people have. I always have what I had as compared to the others who are less privileged. So that gives you more happiness. So always think about it.
So, yes, we are coming to the end of the session, and it's absolutely an honor, ma'am. So much of learning, so much of inspiration. Thank you so much for giving us your valuable time right from there,
Thank you so much
California.
for
Yeah,
having
see
me
you
here.
soon. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yes, bye, ma'am.
Thank you. Really appreciate. Yeah.